Nicholas.
Guys, listen up. She's recording. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Nicholas.
Lucky and everyone. Oh, she got put on YouTube.
Okay. Okay. Give me 5. Yes, I am recording, right? But it's for me. It's not for you. It's for me. Wait, I don't need questions right now. It's for me. It's for me to use for my school, right? Like my teacher is gonna watch this lesson, and she's gonna say like, okay, Miss Zibelmeyer needs to work on X, Y, Z to be a better teacher. So, yes, I would love for you to be on your best behavior, but at the same point in time, we're gonna be kind of doing things a little bit differently today. So, you have an exit ticket as your warm up today from 10.1. And remember, Ms. Regan was really nice to leave this up. The goal of yesterday's lesson was that if a fraction, when you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, it has to be greater than 1 to increase the number. So for example, if I multiplied 2 times 5/4, is this greater or less than 1? Greater, because 4 goes into 5 how many times? 1, and then I'm left with what?
1 and 1/4.
1 and 1/4, beautiful. Okay, so that's greater than 1. The number will then decrease if I multiply 2 times 1/4 if a fraction is less than 1. So 1/4 is greater or less than 1? Less than 1, right? So that means that the product is going to be less than. Okay, so it's going to decrease. It's going to increase when we have a number greater than 1. Okay, so it's just a 3-question quiz. It should be found on the McGraw-Hill section of your math. Okay, so you have 7 minutes to complete that.
Wait, where is it? Is it Alex or?
It's in the purple book. Yep. So the purple book.
There's only 3 questions?
Yeah, there's only 3 questions. Just a little warm up.
Done. Only 3 questions. Done.
When you're done, go ahead and get out your math notebook so I know that you're ready. So you can close your laptop when you finished it. And it's just 3 questions. Yeah.
I'm done yet. I forgot my pencil.
Alan.
Oh,
Oh, you're an Alex. Yeah. Okay. You can use your whiteboard if you want to.
guys, there's 3 points. When does it go for our grade?
We should be talking. This is a warm up. Ready?
Does it go for our grade?
Maybe? Yes. There's too much noise for this warm up. Ready? when you finish, close your laptop and get out your math notebook, so that way I know that we're ready to go. There's still people who are warming up right now, so I can hear you talking.
Once you finish, do you want to put the whiteboard back?
No, just.
The homework was very confusing.
We'll talk about it.
Hard?
We'll talk about it. And then after you finish on over again.
I finished all the homework. I didn't even start that homework yet. Oh, I forgot how to fill in. I did 5 days. You know when you do the fractions and then you have to fill in something. Oh yeah. Good, 69.
So my friends that are still going, we have like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just when the timer goes down, just close your laptop. Don't worry about it. It's just so I can kind of see where you're at. It's fine. This is not for a grade. Don't worry about it. I just want to see what you know.
I got 2 wrong and 1 right.
It's okay.
I'm pretty sure. Wrong and 1. Oh, yeah, you guys just like put that 2 as a button. Or should I think it says. What's it? I got it. Those are like a percentage and everything. But what does that mean? Less than the first I don't even know what time I'm at. I'm really one of the first to finish. Miss Edelman, can you give me a question on my whiteboard that I tried to solve? Oh my God, Miss Edelman. Come here, please. Come here, please.
We're gonna talk a lot later. So for those of you who still have your laptop open, you can just slowly start to close them. Don't worry, it's just a warm up so that I can see where you're at and I can look at the data.
Does that say thingy?
That's okay. So go ahead and just close your laptops. It's fine. Yeah, it does. Okay, so now we're going to take some notes in our math notebook. Okay, so before we do that, I'm going to open up our little thing. There's too much talking right now.
God, this is not acceptable.
Okay,
Why is you don't need it?
I don't need the side comments. I just need you guys to increase or decrease. So for those of you who still have your laptops up, just close them and then open your notebook for me. Okay? So just a refresher, when a whole number is multiplied by a fraction less than 1, the value will what? The value will what?
Decrease.
Yeah, we can correlate respond, that's fine, right? So for your first example, you guys talked about 2 over 1 times 1/2. 2 over 1 is what? Really? 2 over 1 is 2, right? So the product of the expression was 1. So is that larger or smaller than 2? Smaller, right? So in the second one, you guys talked, we are now going to be multiplying fractions. Okay, so we're going to be on page 18. Okay, so you guys can open your
notebook.
There it is. We're going to start a new page. Okay. That's going to be page 18. And just make sure you guys write the date. I know that some of you might have the wrong page, but we're really just focused on the date right now. Thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate that. Okay. So we're going to be discussing multiplying fractions. Right? So our last 2 units have been on multiplying fractions, yes?
Okay.
Huh?
We go on the left side or the right
On
side?
the left side, yeah, because we're gonna have more notes. Okay? Multiplying fractions. Alright? So the first rule that we're going to be discussing is when you multiply fractions, what do we think we do? Should we just multiply the denominator and the numerator together, or should I cross, or should I go across?
I think that we just times them both across.
Yeah, across, right? But the first one that we're always going to multiply first is going to be the numerator. Okay, so to multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. Okay. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to write a nice little 1 near the numerators. Don't worry. And a nice little 2 next to the denominators. So my first step is always going to be multiplying across to the what? Numerators. And my step 2 is always going to be multiplying across the denominators. Beautiful. Right? Differentiate this. But we are focusing on the denominators. Okay, so let's do an example for our first one, okay? So we're gonna put number 1 here, circle. Okay, so my first example is gonna be 1/2 multiplied by 3 over 4. Okay, now I want you guys to kind of walk me through this. You know that Miss Regan likes to put a little, kind of like a little rainbow, right? When we're multiplying. So we're gonna multiply 1 times 3 and 2 times 4. Okay, so my first step, what numbers am I multiplying? The numerators. 1 times 3, which is?
3.
3, right? Beautiful. And what's 2 times 4?
8.
And what number is that for us? Or what is it, a denominator or a numerator?
Denominator.
Denominator, right? You guys get this pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and number 2, okay? But I am going to give you a minute, or not really a minute, and make sure you're using pencil. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to solve, okay? So we're multiplying 3/5 times 1/2. And remember, our first step is to multiply the what? Numerators, and then our second step is to?
Multiply the denominators.
Thank you, Nicholas, that's beautiful. Okay, so, what do we think my first step is?
Oh.
Nevaeh?
To multiply the two numerators and do 3 times 1.
Which is?
3.
3, beautiful guys, okay? Right, and then what's my second step? Melissa?
You multiply the two denominators.
Which are what in this equation?
Which are 5 times 2.
Which is? 10, beautiful, okay? Awesome, so now we're going to do the third problem, okay? And again, I want you guys to do this on your own, but I don't want you to simplify yet because we're going to have to do it later, but I want to talk through it. Okay, so I have 5, 6 multiplied by 3/1. And my first step, I'm going to give you guys some time.
Wait, can we do it?
Yeah,
Can I simplify it?
no, not yet. Okay, so my first step, I need a friend to tell me what my first step is. Michael? Which is 15. Okay, what's my second step? Andrew?
Your second step is to multiply your denominators, which is 6 times 1, which equals 6.
6. Okay. So now I have an improper fraction, right? So how many times can 6 go in 15? 2. I know this is really easy for you guys, right? So we got 2. Then what's my leftover fraction?
3, 6.
3, 6.
2 and 3,
Which equals what?
1/2.
Right. So if I really had to simplify, it would be 2 and 1/2. Beautiful, guys. Okay. But remember, on your fast test, they will most likely keep it as 15/6, or they do 2 and 3/6, I believe. So make sure that you're not oversimplifying because the answer might be there, it just might be in its like rawest form, so it might not be simplified. So I believe they would tell you to simplify it in the directions. Right, our last problem is going to be one that we're going to do together, okay? But before we do it, we're going to write a little note, but we're going to go 20 times 1/3. So now everyone should hold there, and we're going to write a new note. So our new note is going to be in the side bar of our paper.
It's kind of like a caption.
Like a caption, yeah, good job, using a text feature. So, if the factor is a whole number, make it a fraction over what?
1.
Caitlin, can you please do your attendance?
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you.
So my example here is 3 is going to become what, Ellen? What would 3 become as a whole number? Did you have a question? No, okay. So remember, if we have a whole number, 3 is a whole number, and I'm going to do what to the whole number? I'm going to make it a fraction over 1. So what would my fraction be now?
21.
3/1. You're going too far, Nicholas. 3/1 is my example. Here, 3/1. Okay, so that's our little sidebar or caption. So now let's go back to our problem. Okay. So I have 20 times times 1/3. What do I need to do? Nicholas?
20 over 1.
20 over 1. So what did Nicholas do? He made 20, which is a whole number, into a fraction, right? Over 1. So I'm going to go 20 over 1.
Oh.
And then I'm going to make my little rainbows. Because I'm multiplying what? Am I multiplying up and down, or am I multiplying across?
Across.
Across. Okay. So what's my first step now?
Multiply the numerators.
Multiply the numerators. So what's 20 times 1?
20.
20. Okay, then I have 1 times 3 in the denominator, which is?
3.
3. Okay, now, if I had to simplify this, what would my answer be?
6 and 2/3.
Beautiful. Okay,
Thank you.
so I'm going to get 6 and 2/3. Now for us, that might be like, whoa, hold on. Okay, I'm going to divide 20 by 3, which gives, what number goes in, sorry. How many times does 3 go into 20?
6 times.
6 times, which equals what?
18.
18. So then I'm going to subtract 18 from 20, and I get how many left over?
2.
2, and my denominator is?
3.
So then my fraction is?
6 and 2/3.
6 and 2/3. Beautiful. So now, on the second page, okay, we are going to talk about mixed numbers, okay? So this is something that we want to write in bold letters, okay?
Miss Sigolman, you were using this page the whole time?
Yes.
How was using that page?
It's okay, just write down the other side, okay? No need to fret, things will move on, okay? This is a big important rule.
I'm making my story.
You cannot multiply mixed numbers. And then we did 4. Not multiply mixed numbers. Can anybody tell me why you think we can't multiply mixed numbers multiplied by each other? Or even by a fraction? Nevaeh?
Because they have a whole.
Yeah, because they have a whole.
You
Okay.
just don't multiply the whole.
You do need to include it because it's part of its
You just add
number.
them together.
Yeah,
No,
so
but
we're
you don't. She said you cannot. The rules of the rule.
we cannot multiply it. So our next note, Nicholas.
You have to make it greater than 1 fraction.
Yeah, good job, Brian. Right, so we're gonna work on that. So our first thing that we're gonna talk about is when multiplying mixed numbers. There, Dina. You must, Michael, not you, Michael, you must change it into a fraction greater than 1. Okay? And greater than 1 written looks like this. So it would be 1, x is greater than 1. So 1 is less than x. I wrote it right, didn't I?
X is greater than 1?
1 is less than x. X is greater
What's
than
X? What's X?
1. X is the number.
Oh!
I thought adding letters into math.
I thought
now.
where X
Guys,
Sorry guys, sorry, I went too far.
that's in 6th grade.
Oh, okay.
No.
So just in case you can input any number here, okay? And all mixed numbers are greater than 1, correct? So when multiplying mixed numbers, you must change it into a fraction greater than 1. Okay? I'm gonna give you an example so you get to ask your question. Okay, so our first example, and I want you guys give yourself space because we're gonna manipulate the numbers a little bit. So I'm gonna go 1 and 1/2. Okay?
Oh, you're making a big?
Times 2/3 equals. Okay? So Miss Regan drew a circle, I think, so that you guys can kind of keep it contained. So you can think about the numbers are staying with each other the whole time. So draw your little circle. Mine isn't perfect. Okay? Now the first thing I do when I'm multiplying mixed numbers is I'm going to take the whole number and I'm going to multiply it by the denominator. Okay? So I want you all to write a nice little multiplication sign. So I'm going to first multiply the whole times the numerator. So in this case, what is 2 times 1? 2. I am then going to add the numerator. Okay? So I'm going to add that number to the numerator. So 2 times 1 is what? 2 plus 1 is 3. So that number is going to stay where it is on the top in the numerator. So 3 is going to stay. Now, here's a thinking question. Will my denominator stay the same or change? Stay the same, right? Stay the same. Because if I try to solve 3 over 2, it would equal what? What would that?
1 and 1.
Yeah, it would 1 and 1/2. It would equal 1 and 1/2. So, what does my numerator always do, or what does my denominator always do?
Stay.
Right, so let's write a little asterisk over here so that you guys can remember an asterisk. Let's say the denominator always stays the what? The same. Okay? And remember how we talked about rewriting our equations, right, when we're trying to manipulate them so that we can find the answer? We're going to rewrite our first equation. So we have 3 over 2 multiplied by 2 over 3. And now, it's just the same thing that we did on the other page. So I'm going to draw my little rainbow. And I'm going to multiply what first? The numerator, which is what, Nevaeh?
3 times 2 and equals 6.
Beautiful. So I'm going to get 6. And then what's my second step? Right, I'm multiplying the denominators. And what is my answer there?
6.
Good. So 2 times 3 is what? 6. And then if I had to simplify this, what would it equal?
1
One whole. Great job. So remember how in the beginning of class we talked about multiplying fractions, and when a whole number, when you multiply a number by a fraction, does it increase or decrease if it's less than 1? It decreased, right? So what did our 1 and 1/2 do? It decreased, right? Because what was our fraction? Was it greater or less than 1?
Greater.
No, less.
Less.
Yeah, our other factor was less than 1, right? Okay, let's do one more and then we're going to go into 10.2. Okay? 10.2.
I don't know where it is.
Michael? You don't understand the mixed numbers? Okay, well, we'll keep going. We're going to keep going. And hopefully through examples we'll get it. So I have 2 and 1/2 times 2 mixed numbers. 1 and 1/3. Okay, so what's my first step here so that I can contain the problem? Circle. Yes, good job. So I'm going to circle this number. And do I have 2 mixed numbers or 1 mixed number? 2. So I'm also going to circle the other one because I'm going to come back to that. Okay? So, what's my first step when I'm trying to change the mixed number? What am I going to put in the bottom? 30. A multiplication sign. I'm going to do a little multiplication sign. Then what's my next sign that I'm going to add in the circle? Addition. Yep. Okay. So, my first thing, we're gonna go clockwise, so we're always going clockwise when we're moving and changing the next number. What's my first step? Alyssa?
Multiply 2 by 2.
Yeah, which equals?
4.
4, and then what's my next step, Nevaeh?
Add the 1, so it's 5.
Right, so I'm adding the numerator, right? I always want to go from the denominator to the numerator. Okay?
Oh, so you times 2 by 2 and then you just add that 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought then you do like 2 plus 1. Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's always the product of 2, or the denominator, times the whole number. And then I'm going to take that product and I'm going to add it to the numerator. Okay. So, and then what happens to my denominator? Does it stay the same or stays the same? So 5 over what? 5 over 2. Michael, the reason it's 5 is because I did 2 times 2, which equals what? 4. Then I add the 1, which equals 5. Good job. So that's 5 over. It goes clockwise. It just starts from the bottom. It looks a little different. Wait. Hold on, I can't hear Andrew.
Couldn't I just technically take that one whole, break it down into 2.5, and
Yes,
then add that?
You could, but the way that I think it makes it more complicated is that you would then have to do 2 fractions. So what Andrew's saying, and so this is just a simpler way to, like when you get bigger mixed numbers, you're going to have to multiply bigger numbers, right? Let's say I had 47 and 32 50s, right? 50ths, right? It would be really hard for me to write 50 over 50, 47 times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I'm just simplifying it. So now, what would I do here? Same idea. I would multiply, then I would add.
Yeah.
So I do 50 times 47, right? And then I add that product to 32, which would be whatever that number is, over 50. We get it? Okay, good. So, no, don't write it. Don't write it. I'm just giving you an example. So Andrew, to go back to the 2 1/2. If I wanted to do that, I'd have to do 2 over 2, 2 over 2, plus 1/2. Right? Right, so you guys did adding multiple fractions with common denominators. You know how to do that. But like I said, when we get into bigger numbers or fractions that are really small and whole numbers that are larger, it just becomes too much to have to go 2 plus 2 plus 1. Let's say it was longer than that, then it would just be too long, and then we'd be wasting time. So this is just a simpler way for you to do it concisely, right? And nice and concise means like quick, right? Compact.
You know the D you just taught us today, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was on the homework. Yes.
I know, so the homework was for the whole week.
Oh.
Yeah. That's great. We're turning it in on Friday. Okay, so you have all week to do it.
Wait, when did you do?
It's on Friday.
My teacher said Monday.
He told us next Monday.
That's what my teacher said.
Oh, yeah, next Monday for your class, yeah. Because we gave it to you in the afternoon.
I was gonna say I can have
Okay,
that.
so we're moving on to the next factor, okay? I have 1 and 1/3. What am I first gonna do?
Multiply. Oh, and put the multiplication sign at the bottom. And then
What's the bottom called?
the
denominator.
The denominator,
first.
right? What's my next step, Vivian?
Put the plus sign at the top of the numerator.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's do this together, class, right? 3 times 1 is
3.
plus 1, 4. So we have 4, and what do I keep the denominator?
Same.
The same, which is?
3.
Right, so it's 4 over 3, okay? Now, I do my little rainbows. Nevaeh, on task, please.
Sorry.
So, I multiply across. What's my first thing I multiply? My numerator or my denominator? Numerator, right? Okay. So 5 times 4 is what?
20.
20. 20, good. And then we have 2 times 3. 6. Beautiful. Okay. Now if I wanted to make that a mixed number.
3 and 2, 6.
Beautiful. You guys are
3 and 2, 6.
okay. So I'm gonna start 10.2. So we're done with that for today. You guys can close your notebooks. And
No more writing?
no more writing for now.
For now.
Okay. So you guys can open your workbooks to page 93. Just open to your workbooks.
Music, my talk like that. That's not a word. I is not a word. It's
Maya.
It's like
This is
a
off topic.
What page is it?
It's 93 in your book. Okay. 93, page 93.
Mike, can I use my SNS?
There's a lot of talking for flipping through a book.
Excuse me.
Okay.
What page?
Oh, sorry. 30, sorry.
My page is different from your page.
I know.
What page is it?
93. Okay, so we're going to quickly go through this first page. We're not going to spend, it's on the board, David. Okay. So in your groups, I want you guys to quickly, on your whiteboards, okay, I want you guys to write what you notice and what you wonder about this little 10 by 10 print, or this 5 by 6 cubbies. Over a Sharpie pencil or on the block, okay? So just grab it. Right, so as a group, I want you to discuss what do you notice, what do you wonder about this, and the representation that it has. So you notice there's different colored blankets.
Wait. Are you like talking about one?
You're talking about the one on page 93. You gotta listen.
What?
Okay.
You have to write on the whiteboard, right?
So talk about it with your group. What do you notice? What do you wonder?
Oh, we have to do the one on our book? Yes. What? Did you say? I am a good listener.
2 rows.
I space. No, it's okay. It's for me,
I don't see a lot of writing going on and discussing. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 30 more seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, I'm finished. I noticed that half of the blankets are purple and red, and I wonder why they have so much blankets. Blue and red. I said blue and red. I did some missing. No, that's purple. That's blue. That's purple. That's purple. That's purple. What do you want about that's purple? Why are you fighting with no, you just started. You started.
Nicholas, I need you to pay attention. I thought 3 times and you didn't join. Okay? So, I know my picture is different than yours, but I want the 4s, and if there is not a 4 at your table, I want the 3s to share. So, Mason, what did your group notice? I can't hear Mason. It's Eon. It's Eon.
Oh, wait, I am too. I'm a 2.
Mason?
We noticed that there's
Guys, can you hear Mason? Davidson. Go ahead, Mason.
and we noticed that more. What are you reading?
Nevaeh?
I noticed there are 2 rows of purple blankets, and then 2 rows of red blankets.
Okay. John Luca, what did you say? What did you think?
I noticed that half of the blankets are purple and red.
Purple and red?
And I wonder.
Okay. What about Lucas? Or Jose?
I noticed that there's 10 tea colors, and there's 10 blue towels, and 10 red towels, and in total it's 20 towels.
20 towels. In car?
I noticed that there are 2 different colors and that there are 2 empty rows.
Okay. Liana?
I noticed that there are 20 blankets in total, and I wonder if some blankets are missing.
Oh, that's a good question. I wonder if some blankets are missing. So, I liked what you guys said about, like, that you guys are noticing that there are different rows, there were different colors, okay? And I think we need to start thinking about math, and this is what 10.2 is all about, visualization of math, okay? So, we're gonna do this problem together, okay? And I want you to copy what I write, because we're gonna talk about breaking up fractions and seeing them so that you can sometimes see the answer when you're multiplying, okay? So I don't want you to flip your page yet, okay? But I just want you to listen and I want you to observe and kind of see how we're visualizing together. So 2/3 of a garden has flowers and 3/4 of that area has sunflowers. What fraction of the garden has sunflowers? Okay, so my first step when I'm getting a word problem like this is what am I going to do? I want to draw something. I might want to draw what? Mason? Or, I'm sorry, Michael? I'm getting off there. Michael.
So you might want to draw a square representing the area, and then put it into fractions and put that fraction into a fraction.
Okay, you went a little too far, but I love it, right? So, Michael A said that we should draw the garden. So I want you to draw the garden. So just draw the plot of the garden. Okay? On your whiteboard, yep, on your whiteboard. So we're going to call this the garden. Okay? But what do we know about this garden? We know that 2/3 of the garden has flowers because the other third of the garden, let's just say there's like a little reflecting pond. Okay? And we're not going to use the reflection pond to plant flowers, right? Because there's what? A pond there. Okay? So, I have this garden. What's my first step now to separate this garden into 2/3? What am I going to draw? Nevaeh?
Draw like thirds.
I'm going to draw thirds. So I'm going to draw thirds vertically. Okay? So I know that I'm using 2/3 for the garden. So for me, I know that I'm using 2/3. So I'm going to shade in 2/3 because they're going to start talking about multiplying fractions, which we are. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a little lines, okay, and just shade in. I don't need it to be a perfect colored in. I just need just a little bit of a scribble. So, of that area, we know that it has what fraction of sunflowers? What fraction of this 2/3 has sunflowers? Mason? 3/4. Yep. So in my problem, I have 3/4, and I know this 2/3 written equals 2/3. So these are my big numbers that I'm focusing on. Okay, so how can I get 3/4 of this garden? What should I probably do? Nicholas?
So like make the fourth sideways.
Make the fourth. So I'm going to make the fourth in the entire garden. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and now I have fourths. Okay? Now, I don't want you to think about the parts that we colored in. I want you to think about this garden. Hold on. I want you to think about this garden as if I only had the fourths.
Wait.
Hold on. If I have 3/4, what am I going to color in this example?
3/4.
So I'm going to color in which one? This one, and
That one.
that one. Yeah. So I'm going to color in here, here.
Another garden?
No, it's just so that you can see the difference. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to my garden.
Oh.
Okay? And now I'm actually going to in 3/4 of this garden. So I'm gonna go here.
And there's one.
Hold on. Here.
That's
Okay, so you guys might be wondering, why did you color in this section? Because isn't this a 4th? This line here, this first line, if we match them up? Okay, and when we're writing the equation, we know that it's asking what fraction of the garden has sunflowers. So we have to figure that out. So I know that I'm going to use 2/3 multiplied by 3/4. Okay? So if I were to solve, let's just solve and then we'll check our visual. What am I doing first? I'm going to draw my what? What am I drawing?
Rainbow.
My rainbows. I gotta draw my rainbows. Okay? And do I multiply my denominator first?
Oh,
No. I multiply my numerator. So what's 2 times 3? 6.
And then I say
No bad.
4 times 3 equals 12.
Which is 12. 6/12, right? Or 1/2. So when I go back to this, okay, I'm gonna go, okay, I might need to count this so that I can visualize a little bit better. So I have 1/12, right? Because if I count all these, how many are there? 12. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 squares. Oh yeah, right? So now I'm going to see if when I shaded and I double shaded, if it equals 6/12. So let's do our adventure, right? So I got 1, 2. Is this one shaded, double shaded?
No.
No, so I'm going to leave that alone. I got 1, 2. Is it? Can I circle this one?
No.
No, why?
Because it's not double
It's not double shaded, right? And then I got this one. And then can I shade this one? Or can I circle it? Yeah. Because it's double what?
Shaded.
Right. So when I look at all my circles, how many circles do I have?
6.
6. So I have 6. And then how many tiles are there overall in the garden? 12. Right? So I have 6. 12. So is that the same answer as over there? It is.
So half of the garden.
So half of the third is being used for what? Sunflowers. Can we kind of visualize this now? Okay. Unfortunately, we have to start packing up. Okay, well, hold on. So I need the number 2s to grab all the whiteboards, erasers, and markers and put them back. I can't hear myself. It gives me 2s. Okay. Then I need all. And then once all the 2s have done that, we're going to come back to our desks and we're going to put the mailboxes. We're going to put our stuff back in the mailbox. Make sure your whiteboards are nice and clean. Claridina, let's go. Okay. Yeah, all the whiteboards need to be back. I'll tell you by table. So can I have table 3 put their stuff away? Table 3. That's you, Davidson. Your table 6. Table 6, go ahead and put your stuff away. Table 1, put your stuff away. Table 1, put your stuff away. Gillis, Mason, Michael. Table 4, put your stuff away.
You're not table 4?
Table 5.
I think they'll fit.
And table 2. Table 1, I called you a long time ago. Why we were still talking, I have no idea.
If you were born on
And then I need you guys to line up. You're gonna get ready to go back to Mandarin's class. Good job today, guys.
what? If you were born on January 1st, you never say your birthday was last year. Did you know my cousin? Did you know my cousin was born the 31st of December? My cousin was born the 31st of December.
No, so you get what I mean?
Make sure you never say
Your birthday was last year. Your birthday is on January 1st.
Because the book you can never, because when you would say it's years
Miss Ziegelmeyer's a good teacher.
You're not supposed to say it.
What happened?
He was about to say this. Is a good teacher.
Miss Ziegelmeyer's is a good teacher, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Ziegelmeyer's the best. Cameron,
You guys are so much trouble. Go. You can go. Go. You guys are so much trouble when you go.
I didn't go get in trouble for that.
I said it. I saw Miss
Miss Ziegelmeyer's the best teacher.
She is the best.
What if we're just talking to the iPad and it stopped recording? And she already stopped recording.
Oh.
Let's crack a lacking.
You know what? Oh my goodness. Who put that there? Maybe it was me. Oh my gosh, it was my. My speaker.